Hello guys, this is a review of the movie Perfume, the story of murder. Let me tell you, this movie is something else. So if you haven't watched it, I really recommend that you go ahead and watch it and then come back. Because if you don't, you'll be missing out on one of the best elements of this movie, which is the elements of surprise, among many other things that this film has to offer. The movie follows the story of Jean-Baptiste Grenouille. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's basically born into slavery. He's born in France, and picture hundreds and hundreds of years ago in France, and erase all the first world privileges that you're used to having. Like, everything. That's basically his life. But what made him stand out among everyone else was the fact that he was born with this extreme sense of smell. He had this gift where he could smell things from miles and miles away. He could decipher up to the smallest little particles, like the composition of whatever he was smelling. And everything, like I said, he was like born in an orphanage. Not born in an orphanage, but taken to an orphanage at a very small age, then sold to work for this guy who always beat him. But everything changed when he first smelled this beautiful young woman. Then he became deadly obsessed with wanting to preserve that smell. The best way that I could describe this, if this isn't making any sense, it's imagine if you're walking past a garden and you get this sense like, oh my gosh, like this smells amazing. I wish I could wear it. I wish like I could like, where do they, like, what smell is this so that I could buy the perfume and, wear it? Well, this guy wanted the same thing, but with a woman. He could smell women, especially beautiful, beautiful young women. He could smell them. And he wondered if and how he could just encapsulate it and store it and take it with him, I guess. So he met this perfumist whom he begged for work, because there's like little mini stories. Like I always tend to do this in my reviews, talk a lot about the plot and a little bit about my take on it. So I'm just not gonna go into detail. You should watch it for yourself so that we could both like enjoy the review and like go back and forth. Basically, this perfumist is getting old. He hasn't put out a very enticing fragrance, so he's going downhill. He's trying to figure out what his rival's perfume has in it. And Jean-Baptiste goes there to deliver some rugs. And he's like, you know what? I got you. Well, he doesn't, I'm paraphrasing. Like, I got you with those smells. He goes over and gets a lot of, a little bit of rosemary, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. He mixes it up and gives him, he's like, this is the smell that you're looking for. But I could even make it better than the, your rivals. So he adds a few things here and there and makes this beautiful, wonderful smell. He's like, so can I work for you? And eventually the perfumist buys him out of his, I was going to say his contract, his master. And they start working on scents, and he just makes a lot of very, very good scents. But he demands, Jean-Baptiste, that the perfumist teaches him the process for turning like flowers into that little container that we know as perfume. And he does. But he's dissatisfied because the process that the perfumist uses is not for living things. Or not living things, but like humans and stuff like that. It's more for flowers and like, I don't know, grains, like other things. And he says, is it possible for me to capture that scent? Like, not, he doesn't specify which scent. And the perfumist says, yeah, in Grasse. So Grasse is this place, and you could imagine it like the University of Arts for an artist. Like, it's just like Disneyland for Mickey Mouse fans. Like the greatest thing for perfumists. You learn skill, you learn technique, you learn a lot of things about being a perfumist, and you can't be a very high quality one if you don't go there. Actually, Jean-Baptiste almost dies when he figures out that he can't like preserve it forever, supposedly. And then he tells him that blah blah blah, so they make a deal and he goes to Grasse. On his way there, I had to mention, I know that I'm talking a lot about the plot, but I have to. While he stays in this like cave looking thing, he realizes, why can't I smell myself? Like there's scent of everything I've like encountered, but not of myself. And he washes off and he notices that he doesn't have a smell of his own. And for him, smell is everything. So if you don't smell like anything, you're no one. And he was just determined to prove that he was someone and that he was someone extraordinary. He makes it to Grasse, where they teach him the beautiful art of enfleurage, or I think that's how you pronounce it, where they use lard to extract, like, supposedly the lard encaptures the scent, keeps it, and then like you distill it, and I think you evaporate it, and whatever falls off that is the... I'm sorry, I'm not a scientist, but that's besides the point. Like that's basically a very elaborate process that, and techniques that he's getting to learn while there. But while there, like I said, he starts killing these women. Before going there, the first person and the only person that he killed was this girl that he met while he was still with his former master. He like smelled her and she was selling these fruits. He just went ahead, and we don't know if he wanted to kill her or not. Well, I'll get into the details afterwards. Let me just finish with the plot. So he starts killing and killing and killing, and the town is like going crazy, right? This beautiful girl is the one that he's most after because she's like the most beautiful one, so according to them. And that's the father of the girl. And him, he's like a very high-ranked guy, and he's having a lot of meetings with the town leaders, and they're like, what are we going to do about this serial killer? Like, we have to do something. And they just can't find him. They find him until the very end, after he kills like a dozen girls plus this one that I just showed you. And they decide to, I think, hang him. They have like the executioner and everything. They have everything ready. They're going to expose him in front of hundreds of people, but they don't get to do that because by then Jean-Baptiste already has his perfume, and every time he puts it on, people bow down to him, literally. This movie takes a huge turn. Everything turns just like even more surreal than the beginning, because people start like having this huge orgy, like with everybody, priests, housewives, everybody with everybody. That's how the movie ends. I know that it's probably very difficult for you to understand if you haven't watched it. That's why you have to watch it. And the movie ends with him sacrificing himself and just throwing the perfume over his head. Woo! This is a very long movie. It's very difficult to summarize everything. But here's my take on it. I think that Jean-Baptiste Grenouille, this could go so many ways. For example, my sister said that he was in love with the first girl, and since from the moment he smelled her, he wanted to preserve that smell, and that's why he killed all the other girls, to try and get the similar smell to the first girl. But I don't think so. I think that he wanted to make that elixir, or whatever you call it, when you mix, the perfumist was talking to him about how it's like chords. You have to have like, for here you have to have this, you have to have that, and that makes up 12. And there's this Egyptian story where they had the secret number 13, but nobody could know what it was made of. Number 13 for him, in terms of smells, was her. And he had to kill those 12 girls. He had to, in order to make that overpowering, out of this world scent that he finally made in the end of the movie. At the end, I think that he wasn't in love with her, but what made him realize that he didn't want to exist in this world anymore. Like he He got what he wanted. This is everything that he wished for in life. There was no bigger desire, no bigger ambition, nothing else. His sole drive in life was to create this scent, and once he made it, the reason why he didn't want to keep living, I feel, is because he looked around at the huge orgy that was going on between everybody else, and he kept having flashbacks to the first girl that he killed, not because he loved her, but because he realized that he was never going to have the same love that the other people had. And that's what killed him, because he was like, I could do this and I could like have people bow down on my feet, but that's not like the love that I want. Like, he imagined him kissing the first girl that he killed, and you might think, oh, it's because he loved her. I don't think it's because he loved her. I don't even think he knew what love was. I think it was because he was like, well, that's the biggest thing. Like, I know that I made a scent that's the best in the whole entire world, and if this scent makes people make love, how come I'm not making love? That's what I feel the movie's about. Well, like, but I think it could go in many different ways, because there are a lot of elements. This movie is well made. If you could imagine Game of Thrones, this is kind of like Game of Thrones. Good quality, good story, good acting, a bit of supernatural things thrown here and there. Mystery, a little bit of thriller. This isn't like a straight up like horror movie. It isn't. And it isn't just a drama like your regular drama. I think this movie is a perfect mix of drama and thriller, the likes of which we rarely see, if ever. It's a really good film. I hated the ending. I disliked the fact that he just went all over the place. Like, I was following, the story, and I was like, okay. He wants to smell. He has a powerful smell. Okay. But then when he put it on and had like everybody bow down at his feet, I was like, And then everybody just have sex with each other. I was like, it like took a turn that was, But then again, if it didn't have that weird derailed ending, then this would have been a much more straightforward film. And what makes this film special is that it's not straightforward. It takes you in different turns. Before he killed the first girl, you get the sense like, oh, he's falling for the girl. I watched this movie like I think 3 times, and one of them was with my mom, and I could hear her like when he killed her the first time, she was like, he killed her. And it's because I feel like people that don't know what the movie's about expect him to fall in love with her, and like that's gonna be what the movie's about, and he becomes rich. But no, it goes a completely different way. The acting here was amazing by everyone. I think his name is Ben Wishaw. I think that's how you pronounce it. Very good looking guy, amazing actor. I know that has nothing to do, but I just wanted to say it. He is amazing actor. Let me see what other performances stood out. Everybody was just good. Everybody was more than good. I'm just saying good because good is the opposite of bad. Like, this is good. The writing was also good. Like, I don't have anything bad to say other than the turn that it took, that I could have taken it to a different direction. But of course, it wouldn't have the soul that it has, and that it had in the very end. My rating for this movie would be like a 9.5 out of 10 in its category. No, a 9.5 out of 10 regardless. No, I don't know. 9.5 out of 10. That's all I'm saying. It's a really, really, really good film, and I recommend that anyone of any adult should watch. And I think that's it for this one. Thank you for watching.